Adrian N. Breitfelder, City Clerk, you are hereby directed to call a special session of the City Council to be held on Monday, February 2nd, 2026 at 6 p.m. in the historic Federal Building for the purpose of conducting a work session on Travel Dubuque.
Thank you. Good evening and welcome to a special session of the Dubuque City Council for February 2nd, 2026. As a reminder to viewers and listeners, due to the nature of tonight's meeting topic, public input is not accepted. However, you may contact the City Council directly from the city's webpage at www.cityofdubuque.org/council contacts. Attendance for the session is as follows. Mayor Kavanaugh.
Here.
Council members Leyendecker.
Here.
Resnick.
Here.
Roussel.
Here.
Sprank.
Here.
Staver.
Here.
Wethel.
Here.
City Manager Van Milligan.
Here.
And City Attorney Brumwell.
Here.
Thank you. Our work session topic is Travel Dubuque Annual Update. I'll turn it over to Travel Dubuque President and CEO Keith Ray. Oh, I think it might have locked you out, Keith. I'll log you back in.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for the presentation, Keith. We'll see you later.
Great presentation, huh? Yeah.
Presence was enough.
Yeah.
It's just right here. Password. There you go.
Okay, thank you. All right, everyone, thank you very much. Sorry about the hiccup there, but my name is Keith Ray, and it's an honor to be here tonight, Mr. Mayor, City Council, and City staff. I'm here on the behalf of Travel Dubuque to do our annual presentation for our upcoming, kind of a recap of this this fiscal year that we're in right now and what we see coming up here in the next fiscal year. As always, I'd like to start off with a slide just to kind of give you an idea of the vibrancy in regards to what we do what I do and my staff does as every day to market Dubuque and Dubuque County as a destination and such. And this kind of gives you a little bit of an overview, how we go about doing that. Very colorful. Our team is, I've got a couple of, three of my employees here this evening. Sarah Hanton, our Vice President of Operations, Julie Kronlogge, and Becky Karkik are in the crowd, and I want to thank them. But also the rest of my staff. We've got, as you all know, a lot of you have worked with us for a number of years. We have an incredibly talented staff. We continue to add to that. And I like to say that I think with all the years that I've been doing this from a Travel Dubuque standpoint, which goes back from 2007, one thing that I've got a very good thing is the team that I put around me, and a very exceptional professionals, very dedicated to Dubuque and Dubuque County on all ends, from a sales, a marketing, event, all types of different things. And you can see, just looking at the team, we have added 2 new members since the last time I was here. Tyler Doherty, as many of you know, Tyler was part of our staff for 11 years. We have brought Tyler back. He now is going to be the general manager of the professional ballpark at the Field of Dreams. And Allie Mormon, she'll be head of our food and beverage she's director specifically for the ballpark and the youth complex. But once again, like I said, just an amazingly talented team. What has happened and what we are excited about is obviously 2025 as we roll into 2026, very, very busy year. And what we've got coming up this season is going to really even expand upon that. First thing I'd like to talk about as we look at, obviously, our main markets that we continue to focus on is the leisure travel. Bring people into Dubuque County to participate, take place in a lot of the different, our attractions, our hotels, our restaurants, breweries, everything that we have to offer here in Dubuque and Dubuque County. What we do, and I can't say this enough, we have an incredibly talented marketing team with Taylor Kellogg heads it up, and Willie Tigas. It's kind of unique, some of the things that we put out that showcase to all of our clientele what makes us different than our so-called peers within, the region in the Midwest and such. Taylor and Willie do a great job for that. One of the things that they've came up with since the soft launch in fall of 25, we're really hitting this hard now as we move forward into 26, and that's for places like this. And that gives you a little bit different, different components in regards to different clientele, once again, that we're marketing to, from families to adventurers to girls' trips to grown-up trips, and that to really showcase what Dubuque and the Tri-State has to offer and such. And very excited about this new campaign that we've been pushing out. Our travel guide, Taylor, works on this. She basically every year in the fall into the winter. I think, once again, this is one of are exceptional ones. She's won numerous state awards with this. It's a very vibrant piece. If you haven't seen it, we'll make sure that you all get one. Every year she goes through, really, goes and kind of does different elements with it that makes us unique, really showcasing on what makes Dubuque and our area a unique region and such. And it's just an incredibly successful element that she does all the work on and puts, with our partnership with the Telegraph Herald, puts it together and gets, then we get it out to the public. Content strategy, different elements you can see from Leisure Travels, what we're really focusing on, the content creation, news articles and that, and just going viral. A lot of different elements here that you can see from a social media standpoint that we're pushing out and really, once again, showcasing what there is unique to do and see here in Dubuque and Dubuque County. And then once again, just more, give you a little bit idea in regards to, how we're hitting this with all the different platforms that we have in social media and such. Our Welcome Center, our Welcome Center is really centrally located on, 3rd and Main, right in a very convenient spot for a lot of activity in the downtown area, people coming down into the port and such. We continue to be really a destination for visitors and such, where a lot of times you see the Welcome Centers kind of drop off just with everybody with their phones and such, but we continue to get a lot of people visiting there. In this past season, we've had people from 49 states, and I believe 35 countries have come to the Welcome Center. And one of the unique things for us is that's another avenue for us to be able to sell unique Dubuque merchandise, which we see a lot of. Plus, a lot of people come and want to get Betty Jane candy, which, I can't disagree with that. So, I got to go back. Group tours. I always talk about this with our board and such, and even, in regards to, we continue to be a unique destination for group tours. That's the buses that we see that are around the city, around the county and such, at our hotels, at our destinations, at our restaurants. And a lot of communities are really not focusing on that as much anymore. For us, it's a great piece of business, and our team does an amazing job with this. You can see all the different visitors, all the different groups that we're a part of, and that continues to grow and expand each year. And Becky Karkik is here today. She's our sales manager, and Becky does an amazing job with this. I'm very proud of her, and it's not only that, but she's been recognized by Groups Today, which is the leading publication for the group tour industry, as a top 10 in next generation. So I think Becky deserves a big round of applause for that honor. So Becky, congratulations, and that continues to do what's, like I mentioned, we continue to do very well with that in each season. That continues to grow. Our sales and meetings, Julie Kronlage is our Vice President of Sales. Julie's been with me since 2007, and as you know, Julie is the top salesperson in the Midwest, and our business continues to reflect on that. Here's just an example of the different stuff that we've had, and also the things that are coming up in this next season. And then the riverboats. Julie is also vital in working with all the different riverboats that make their destination in the Port of Dubuque. As you can see, we've got through May, through October, all the different traffic. As I always talk about with these riverboats, the unique thing about that, it brings another demographic to our community, really to showcase what we have here. And what we see with that repeatedly is that these people come on the boats, but then they return and will visit us with their family, their friends, and others and such. So we're very much like with the group tours, we're very lucky to have this element within our community. It gives us another extension to be able to showcase what we have here and to offer. Our staff and all of our partners do a great job with this. Sports and events. The Dubuque Regional Sports Commission and Travel Dubuque continue to make a strong community impact in fiscal 26 with over 20 sporting events in the county with an estimated economic impact of $2.3 million. And this is something, that we continue to grow. We've got a wide variety of different events that we work with and such. Like now, one of our partners is University of Dubuque with their collegiate hockey tournament that they sponsor and that stuff. Another unique type of activity to bring people into Dubuque and such. Another event that we took place last year that Julie was really instrumental with, working with the Grand River Center and Five Flags, was a volleyball tournament in a very key time of year in February, which was that time when we really need rooms and that such, because we are really kind of that summer fall destination. That did extremely well. Now this year they're coming back for 2 weekends and such. So very proud of that, very proud of what Julie did, working once again with the staff down at the Grand River Center and at Five Flags to take that event, make it successful, and continue to grow it and such. Big event this year that's coming. Obviously, we've got a lot of stuff that's happening in 2026, in all honesty. And one of the bigger ones that we'll have not only in Dubuque, but also in the entire county is RAGBRAI. We were able to announce that David was down in Des Moines, what was that, a week ago Saturday, that we made that announcement and such. So this will be the first time that they'll be dipping in Dubuque since 2010. First time that they've overnighted in Dyersville since 2007. So we're going to have a lot of people, a lot of exposure, a lot of fanfare in Dubuque County during that 2-day time period. And we're very excited about that. And we can't wait for all those bikers to show up here in Dubuque County. Another element that we work with the city on is the Sister City Commission. Becky also helps with that committee and such, and she does a lot of activity with our committee and with us working with our partners and our 2 sister cities and such. And updates on the Field of Dreams movie site. As you know, since May of 2023, Travel Dubuque has taken on the management of the Field of Dreams movie site and all aspects of the entire 297-acre campus. A lot of exciting things have happened there over the previous year. A lot of very exciting things going to be coming up this season. One of the biggest things, which since we took over, was the youth tournaments. I got to be honest with you, when we took that over in May of 23, I looked at that and thought, what are we going to do with this, right? How are we going to take this on, and how well are we going to do? Well, it's been incredibly successful. In 2025, our tournaments, we hosted over 637 teams from 27 states plus Puerto Rico, and that economic impact when they're here, basically from that mid-May through September, is over $14.3 million in economic impact for the region. This continues to grow. This continues to thrive. This year, our goal is to get to 700 teams. And when we get the new youth complex at the Field of Dreams, when that comes online, our hope is to have over 1,000 teams. And that's not only youth baseball, but that's youth girls softball and also senior men's baseball too. So we do incredibly well with this. This really is a huge, once again, revenue generator for the entire region. Also, just the exposure. You know, when we're bringing in all of these teams, all of these families from all over the United States, and even this year, on July 17th, working with our partner Musco, we'll have a team from China that will be there to play a game. And so we're very excited about that. We think there's a world of growth within that also, where we can become even more of an international destination for these youth tournaments. Sales and events at the field, obviously a lot of things, a lot of different elements, from overnight farmhouse stays to field rentals, motor coach groups that are visiting, and also concerts. As you know, this past season, we hosted 2 major concerts on Labor Day weekend, and this year we've got 3 that are coming up. So just with that alone, we estimate that there's over $11.2 million in economic impact from the 2025 concerts. And, we're excited this year, like I mentioned, Carrie Underwood, and we'll have 2 other nights, so there'll be 3 nights this year. So we expect those numbers to expand even more. And also, we were also, the ESPN 50 States in 50 Days, they came to the Field of Dreams and filmed there. The one spot in Iowa that they chose. They've done this 2 times, once in 2005, 2025. Both times when they were in Iowa, they were at the Field of Dreams, so kind of unique. And then the big event, obviously, we've talked a lot about. We've got the professional ballpark that we worked long and hard. I want to thank everyone in this room for all their help and dedication to make this a reality. That's going to be coming online in June of 2025. 2026. We're incredibly excited about that. We're really kicking off all of it. We've got high school activity in later part of June that every team from the Dubuque County is going to be able to play out there. I can't tell you how excited I am about that. And then we've got the Northwoods League. Northwoods League is a wood bat, college wood bat, very popular, 26 communities across the Midwest and Canada. They'll be doing their home run challenge and their all-star game on the 7th and 8th. Then the big events happen in August with minor league games, St. Paul Saints and Iowa Cubs. And then August 13th with the Philadelphia Phillies and it's not the Chicago Cubs they're playing. It's wrong on the slide. I didn't catch that. It's the Twins. So, just FYI on that. So then we've also got once again, like I'd mentioned, the different concerts over Labor Day. And then we've got the St. Louis Cardinals coming back, second year in a row for their fantasy camp. We also have the San Diego Padres are coming for 2 days for their fantasy camp, because you can see as we're growing this, we're building just a lot of different elements, a lot of different programming across that entire 297-acre campus. A lot of excitement. And here's a rendering of the professional ballpark. And if you're out there right now, there's snow and it's cold, but there's a lot of things being done, and we're right on target for that to be completed and done, like I mentioned, by early June of this year. So, very excited about that. Results and impact reported to date. This is different data that we received, and this is from the arrivalist dashboard, and this is taken from mobile phone data, and this only counts visitors. It does not count locals and stuff like that. This is a partnership that we have with the state of Iowa. So it really gives you an idea of where people are coming from and how long they are staying, and then when they are visiting. And as you can see, obviously, our summer months through the fall are our busy time. So. And then when they are visiting, the days of the week, weekends, we constantly work. As long as I've been in this position with Travel Dubuque, we're always trying to grow that early week, business, because Dubuque historically has always been a very strong destination for weekends. We continue to be that and such. So we continue to work on that earlier week thing. And then travel-related expenditures. Now, this is the information that we get. This is the economic impact on travel from the Iowa Counties report, and we get this from the state of Iowa. So you can see we had a slight dip in this. It's always a year behind. That's just the way it goes. We'll get 25 here within probably the next couple of months, I believe. But you can see from a state tax and a local tax, we're up in regards to that. And then the tax, the hotel motel tax. So this is what we receive, from the city. There's a little bit of a difference here in regards to the totals, just a little bit of a decrease. Really, the reason behind that is the way the state has allocated those funds. It typically was always on a quarterly basis, and with this fiscal year, it became monthly. So in the previous fiscal year, it came out to be about 13 months in hotel motel tax revenue. This year that we're figuring now, it's 12 months. So going forward, it'll always be the same. There was just a little bit of a hiccup, once again, the way the state had the money allocated to the city itself and such. But if you take that off, we're about right in par with where we were last year as far as hotel motel tax. So the budget that I'm proposing for this next fiscal year for 2027. So basically, the brunt, we're projecting that will be ahead on income. The biggest increase are the bureau services, which is a combination of bureau services. Should have been a part of your packet that really showcases a lot of different things for us from revenue streams. What we do with the boats, with what we do with other and that to help create different events and run different elements like that. So we are projecting to be about $187,000 more so next fiscal year than what we are this year. From an expense standpoint, really what we're projecting is that for the most part, we're going to be very similar or to a little bit under what we were in this fiscal year. And a lot of this is just a timing as far as if you see a reduction in certain line items, in certain categories, it's really a timing of what we've got next fiscal year compared to where we are this year with different events, different meetings and such like that. And as you can see, marketing, and then with the total awareness development, that is quite a bit ahead, but that's really what we're forecasting from an income standpoint from RAGBRAI and also the expense for hosting RAGBRAI. That really makes up the difference in regards to that line item. And then salaries and benefits, we're a little bit ahead of that, but that's once again with bringing 2 new employees on and then just the general overall percentage in increase in wages and such. What we're forecasting at the end of the year, fiscal year 2027, is to be about $41,000 in the black. This year, we're looking at about $57,000, so we're right about on par with what we typically are. So, at this point, I would open it up for any questions that the council and anyone would have.
All right, well, thanks a lot, Keith. We do have time for questions if anybody has any. Mr. Resnick.
Thank you very much. So I've always said that Dubuque is the most beautiful city on the Mississippi, and if you Google it, I'm right. So I'm glad that we have this wonderful place. Due to city, county, state support, our wonderful businesses, our residents who take care of things and inspire us to do other things. And you know, we don't keep our beautiful city under a bushel basket, and you really help us with that, your entire team. I really enjoyed working with the team in Des Moines. They've got it going. People that I talk to, again, like the mayor says, they come up and ask you, how do you do it in Dubuque? And so I want to thank you very much for everything that you do, and that's my question. I don't really have a question. Yeah, but I don't know, except an open question about, you always credit your team, like the city manager credits the city council. You credit your team. And what else, besides your wonderful team, what keeps it going? Do you feel that our businesses and residents really support our guests here?
I think across the board, I think you're spot on, David, in regards to that. I think that you need a total package, right? I mean, we can only do so much to market and such to get people here, and really, but it's everyone else. You know, it's from our lodging partners for the product they put out, to our restaurants, to our destinations, everything they do, and just people in general. I mean, we hear it all the time, in all honesty, from like the youth teams and that stuff. We do a post survey at the end of the season. They can't believe how friendly people are. You know, they can't believe like they stop at a convenience store to get directions or such, or just that type of thing, and how friendly they are. So I think it's a total overall package, you know, and you need to have all of that. So it's everyone, it's everything, it's every business that steps up and helps make this a great place to visit, in all honesty, and to live, you know. So I think it's everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Steindecker.
Yeah, thanks, Keith, for the presentation here. And, you know, I tend to look at these investments no different than a business makes an investment, or maybe an individual household makes an investment in whatever they might be doing respectively. And looking at the return on those dollars ultimately from a project standpoint. And I think the effort that you and your team put in kind of speaks to putting Dubuque on, you know, a regional and national stage, and especially with the Field of Dreams project on a world stage. And so I know we have some return numbers and kind of how we're looking at those investments, but anything new that and I'm excited to see what, you know, we're able to generate from that, but I'll be curious to see what overall the economic impact will be from everything that we're investing in those projects. Because as we've seen here already, there's real dollars being returned. So anything new on a return standpoint that you guys are looking at modeling?
That's a great question. So with that, you know, we analyze all this in regards to what we work on, that we have a hand in. You know, so obviously as we continue to grow, you know, specifically like with the professional ballpark, once that comes online, you know, that would be a new element, right, that we could, you know, work with and see what that does and what that brings in and such over. You know, not only this, obviously it needs time to grow, just like the youth tournaments, just like everything. So that'll be a big component, right, that we do. Also, you know, the RAGBRAI, you know, what that's going to bring to the community and such. But just the overall, you know, what we're we're doing as a complete destination here within Dubuque, our ability to really to focus on that and what that does for the region and such. So I hope that answers, but we work on that on a daily basis, be honest with you, from all aspects, our marketing efforts, to our sales team, to all different components, like how does that impact, how does that grow, is that making a difference from an economic standpoint? So, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
Ms. Wethel.
Thanks. This is great as always. And your team is so wonderful. Whenever I get to see them, oh my gosh, we see them all the time. I can't go anywhere and not see you guys. Yeah. You spoke briefly about the hotel motel tax and how that impacts our community. That's one thing that I think is not totally understood by everyone maybe, is how important that is, that impact is for our community. Because we as a council have worked on it, I'm interested if you could just speak to the importance of creating hotel capacity here in Dubuque.
It's huge. I mean, we've seen, since I've been blessed to be a part of this organization and working with the council all these years, I mean, we've seen significant growth within that, right? And part of that, the unique thing with that is, from Dubuque's perspective, half of it goes to Travel Dubuque so we can continue to do what we do. The other half goes to the city. And then that goes into the general fund that is utilized for streets and different components like that. So when we're growing that every year, right, when we're seeing all the different activity, and I know sometimes it can be a little bit of a pain, to have a lot of people in the region or whatever, right? Gets a little more traffic. You might not get into a restaurant and such, but that's bringing in significant income that's helping offset costs that a general taxpayer would have. So as long as, we're doing our job, our partners are doing their jobs from every aspect, from the destinations to the restaurants, just putting out that amazing product, once again, that Dubuque County is, that continues to grow that hotel motel tax, then helps alleviate any potential from a taxpayer standpoint. That's a big element, right? And we've been very blessed and very lucky to continue to see that growth. And our job and our hope is to continue to grow that. I'd like to see us, actually, I said last year, I've got a few years left to me yet. I'd like to see us get that over that 4 million by the time I'm done total, which would be an amazing thing for us. The big element with that is, as we continue to see different lodging partners come online, like with the Key. I'm very excited about that down at the, Chapel and Spin Island, with that and us be able to continue to grow that. But everybody has to work together to get people here and to sustain that. And it's not only the tourism component with that, it's also the strength of the business community, right? It's all the different aspects that we have here within Dubuque and the county that helps make that all a reality. But it's a significant, part of what we do, and it helps out, the general taxpayer immensely.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Rusilla, I think we have time for one more. I saw your hand going up.
I know that you mentioned RAGBRAI, and it's something well-known that doesn't come here very often. Could you expand a little bit about what that means for you as far as a workload, and perhaps what the community can expect or how we can plan to be involved?
Yeah.
About a minute and a half.
Okay, good. I could take. Yeah. Well, it's going to put a little bit of workload on us because honestly, when RAGBRAI approached us, they approached me and they said, "Hey, we want to overnight in Darzo." And I said, "Okay, that's good." And they said, "And we're gonna dip in Dubuque." And I'm like, "Oh, okay," because that's 2 for 1 that we get there. But it's huge for the region, right? It's just a great. I think it's a rolling billboard. It really is. For Dubuque County. I mean, I agree with David. We have one of the most beautiful communities on the Mississippi River, and it's our ability to showcase it and such. People that, if they want to be a part of it, they just need to go to our website, traveldubuque.com, and they can sign up to be a volunteer and help out with all the different activities that day, because we'll have the committees, we'll have all types of different activity here in Dubuque for the riders that are coming, and the support vehicles, the people that pick them up and head back to wherever they're from.
That's helpful. Thank you.
Yep.
Well, thank you very much for coming and talking to us again this year, and to your entire team. I mean, you really are an incredible team. So thank you for all the work that you do. And Ms. Wethel's right. We see you everywhere, all the time, doing all these things. And Keith, you too. I mean, leading the charge. So thank you very much for everything that you do and showcasing Dubuque in the way that you do it.
You bet. Thank you, guys. And thank you once again, as always, for your support and the support of the city. We could not do this without this amazing council and the city itself. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you. All right. Well, there's no further business in the work session, so we will be back in session here in about 2 minutes.